you can't do that, except shutting down the government only allows Trump to do that even more effectively. It is the dumbest thing I have ever seen out of a Democrat, because Democrats are usually really strategically so much smarter than Republicans.
And united.
Yeah, they never snatch defeat from the jaws of victory, which we've seen House Republicans do over the last couple of years. But, you know, he came in the final hours like, well, okay, we're good with it, but only for these many days instead of those many days. And by that point, he's showing his cards are weak. And so they just had to vote for it.
And you see this generational divide, of course, you know, AOC representing the newer, more radical end of the party. She's probably also 1,000 times better at messaging to the base than Chuck Schumer. So she's gotten a lot more sort of support. Yeah, there's a few, you know, old school people, you know, telling her to back down. But ultimately, whether Democrats like it or not, Charlie and Joey, she is the voice of the new generation of Democrats.
And who did Nancy Pelosi keep in her crosshairs more than anybody else? AOC.
Yeah.
She kept her in place.
And she kept her in line.
She recognized, she knew
recognized
the threat.
Nancy Pelosi was very crafted, like we said, with House Democrats. I don't think Hakeem Jeffries has that same control.
Yeah.
And, you know, we sit here and maybe you want to say President Trump broke the Democratic Party. I think common sense broke the Democratic Party, and President Trump is taking advantage of it.
Good point, Joey. Well, one thing that everyone's talking about are egg prices. They're on decline for a third straight week. That's some good news for everybody at the grocery store.
Sore throat got your tongue? Mucinex Instant Sore Throat Medicated Drops. Uniquely formulated for rapid relief that lasts and lasts. That's my
and then the price of the egg starts to come down. So I wish this was more of a good supply story. And unfortunately, this is just a demand story. As I think we've all gone to the grocery store and been like, I'm going to come back next week and see if that price comes down a little bit. So the good news is prices are falling on the wholesale level. We need to see that translate into prices down in the retail level at the grocery store. Once that happens, then people should start shopping again and be taking advantage of those low prices. The goal then is to keep those prices low and not to have the demand drive the prices back up.
I was going to hope that she was going to say that there were so many people getting chickens.
Oh, I'm sure that's part of
I
it.
know, I
but
wish.
I bet there's a teeny tiny part of that.
It's a part of that homesteader movement that's happening.
If I were not in New York City, I would be out on a farm buying my own and we're renting my own chickens.
But that is
1000%.
that is the problem with this problem is that you can't just overnight fix it. You have to. It takes 6 or 7 months for a chick to become a hen, so she can start laying eggs.
1,000%. And unfortunately, we saw in some of the latest inflation data that egg prices were still up about 10% month over month and almost 58% year over year. So this has been a trend that is not just the last few weeks. This has been years in the making. They've culled a lot of hens in the previous administration, which is a nice way of saying killed. Or
they killed them, and there's a lot of controversy about whether they should have done that or not. What are the political consequences for Donald Trump? I mean, he can now say, I lowered the egg prices, however it happens, supply, demand, whatever.
Yes, I think the key is lower prices, right? We all remember in November when we went to the polls, the goal was I'm voting on my pocketbook, on my wallet, on the economy. And so he's really made a promise to bring prices down. And that is a very different story than slowing the rate of increase in prices. That is the difference between disinflation versus flat out deflation, which is prices are just coming down. That's a very harder thing to do. But again, good news is that we're starting to see that in some of the grocery staples. It's just the key is to keep it there while also maintaining a good economy for consumers.
Perhaps another miracle President Trump will solve is which came first, the chicken or the egg?
The egg?
I
Chicken
guess.
or the egg.
I'm going to stay out of that debate for now.
That's a good debate to stand. By the way, what will the Democrats talk about? Because suddenly they cared about eggs last month. And now the prices are going down. They're like, oh, wait, forget about eggs. Let's move on to something else.
I would have loved to know that about the last 4 years.
Yeah, where were they then? Only 1 month they cared about eggs. All right, watch The Big Money Show weekdays from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Fox Business Network. And you get more of Taylor's very wise business sense.
Thank you, Taylor.
Thanks for joining
My
us.
pleasure.
Great to see you. A massive cross-country storm unleashes deadly tornadoes across the South. We'll have a live report on the ground next.
Fox Business Reports is sponsored by Ameriprise Financial. Advice worth talking about.
At Ameriprise Financial, we know our clients are so much more than clients. They're go-getters and game changers, legacy leavers and visionaries, healers and confidants. The goals that matter most to you matter most to us. Helping you achieve them is what we do best.